Hello everyone and welcome. Andy Bryan here from Optimal Hemp, and today I'm here with Catherine Wilson from Cannawell, and today I wanted to share a bit of a background in terms of your story.
Okay.
You know, what brought you into the world of hemp, CBD oils, and the world of natural health and well-being in many ways. So this is my first interview. I'll be interviewing many other people in the world of hemp and CBD, but I'm really excited to be speaking to you today. And obviously you're one of the suppliers on my website, which is a real honor because I love the products. I think they're amazing, aren't they? So
yeah, thank you for that. So
to get started, tell me a bit more about yourself and what brought you into this industry to begin with.
well, I didn't really know anything about hemp CBD, but stepping back in time, it makes sense now. I worked for a long time in the environment sector, and I worked with material reclamation and recycling of materials. So I have a strong interest in basically looking after the planet and a passion for it.
Excellent.
And I've also been around the holistic community since the 90s. I've been a member of Fountain International.
Excellent.
So I'm familiar with the whole subject, and above all seek to express myself as a person for the change we want to see on this planet for the benefit of humanity and of course Earth. So about
Excellent.
2014, a friend of mine bought some product in America and brought it back and said, "This stuff is great, you ought to try it." And I'd really never heard about hemp CBD. Obviously I'm familiar with hemp seeds, and that hemp is a fabulous protein and particularly important if you're, for example, a vegetarian or a vegan. And started to do some research, took some myself, and thought, that's really good for us.
Fantastic.
Which then eventually made me to import a small batch at first in 2014, but I wasn't really quite sure what to do with it.
Yep.
And so, by 2015, we had a website, also introduced a very good cream, and really the journey started from there.
Excellent.
So for me, my life with hemp satisfies. It kind of ticks all boxes. It's good for us as humans, it's good for pets, and it's great for the planet.
So if we go back to when you first consumed it for the first time or started using it for the first time, what was your biggest in terms of feeling or in terms of your well-being using it?
I am blessed that I'm generally a well person, but I'm also getting older a bit, so things creak a bit. I just generally took it as a well-being product, and what I realized is, and I think we're allowed to say that, I just found a general overall sense of more well-being. So a better quality of sleep, better energy, generally more relaxed. Now, whether you can put this down to one particular product or not, I can't say, but I just felt an improved sense of vitality, physically and mentally.
Excellent. So if we can talk briefly about the endocannabinoid system, because that really helps us to bring balance and well-being to our bodies and our minds, doesn't it?
Well, the endocannabinoid system isn't really a well understood physiological system at all. It was found, sort of first discovered in, I believe, 1978, and much research is going into it, as we know. But from what I understand is that the endocannabinoid system is really the system that is responsible for homeostasis, and homeostasis is basically balance. So it helps us achieve internal balance towards external circumstances. And it is a kind of over-regulatory mechanism because it affects many parts physiologically of the body. So whether it works with the immune system, the reproductive system, with cell renewal, with so many physiological parts of us. And working now and taking it myself and my family and obviously many customers since, the general feeling is that if you consume it as part of your food, it feels like your body rebalances. You're coming back to to the best possible health you can achieve in whatever your circumstances are.
Fantastic. Well, I love the whole look of the endocannabinoid system and how it works and interacts with our body and affects our mind at the same time. I think it's fantastic.
Well, that's because we have receptors, and we have the most receptors obviously in the brain, the CBD1, CBD receptors. I wouldn't be surprised at all if over the next 10, 15 years, as cannabinoid research is really gaining momentum, we will find out much that we don't understand. But it's also present in our organs, in our cells, throughout the body.
Yeah.
And there is this debate, and I don't think we really need to shy away from it. Is it a medicine or is it a food or whatever? But I think we need to look at any physiological system and say, well, if we accept, and what is currently understood is that we have an endocannabinoid system from before we are born throughout our lives. And we also produce endocannabinoids ongoing within our body. However, it appears, and I cannot prove this scientifically, but I think it kind of is almost common sense that through the challenges of life, whether this is through stress or pollution or physical issues, whatever, this system generally benefits from taking phytocannabinoids, plant-based cannabinoids, added to our diet to give our ECS a boost. And if that ECS functions well, then generally we can see all sorts of improvement in our overall well-being.
Definitely, and I think that's essential, isn't it? That's what we're doing, whether we've got ill health or whether we are in reasonable health, but we want to gain that extra bit of balance and harmony within our own bodies.
Yes, and strengthen our system. I mean, certainly in the last 20 years, we've seen a phenomenal change, for example, in the awareness of food in general. There's an enormous increase in awareness of what foods are maybe not so good for us, what foods benefit us, discussions about superfoods, greens.
Definitely.
I say lots of products coming to market, and we realize actually if we consume some of this, we are strengthening our body to deal with all these stresses around us.
Definitely. So if we look at your range of Cannawell products, and whether they're CBD oils, whether they're balms, you've got a range of products. If we look at those products, how do you feel they've evolved over the years, and in regards to testing, in terms of quality, in terms of what the products are?
Well, we've been incredibly lucky in many ways because my friend originally bought her products from an American company called Bluebird Botanicals, who are one of the pioneers of the hemp cannabinoid industry, and they're a fabulous company. The people who work there are just amazing, beautiful people, and they have a genuine interest to produce good quality product. Now, we then, over a period, by increasing sales, became the European distributor. And what Bluebird really has started, and are definitely the leader, is that every batch is tested. So when we say, well, how much do you get in a bottle? What should we take? What should we produce? In order to do that, we have to first test the extract when it is made, and then from the results of that extract, because we need to understand it's a natural product. So if you have a product that is grown outdoors, hemp is grown outdoors, so it will depend on soil conditions, it'll depend on location, on weather. Is it a dry year? Is it a wet year? And that obviously changes the makeup of the plant. Very simple, good comparison is tomato. If I take a tomato plant grown in Italy, in the backyard of somebody, it may taste quite different than if it's in the north in a glass house.
And what's interesting to note about that, which I think is really, really important to address and look at, is the fact that the soil that it's grown in, and the fact that it's completely free from any of the chemicals like GMOs, because you want to make sure that it is a clean product.
Yes, I mean, fortunately, hemp, as it is at the moment, hasn't been tampered with yet. And we hope it stays in its original form, but I'm sure as research progresses we will see variations. And obviously clean land. So going back, rather than losing the conversation, when you then harvest the hemp and you make the extract, we get the extract tested. We can see the percentage of cannabinoids, and there's also often a very good terpene profile. Terpenes haven't been understood much, but they're basically what gives the flavor and the scent. So, for example, linalool is famous for lemon, or pinene for pine wood. So our oils also have kind of different tastes because they're rich in terpenes, as I think you've experienced earlier.
Definitely.
But that really comes from taking great care in actually producing a good extract.
Definitely.
So with the results then, the laboratory obviously can calculate how much extract needs to go into the bottle to make sure that it contains the percentage and the milligrams as advertised. So that is done, it's tested again. So we actually can offer a genuine standardized product, which means if you buy a bottle today and you buy one 6 months later or whenever, it will contain the same amount. So that's certainly been an increase, and we see generally the industry evolving.
Definitely.
And improving and becoming more aware. We also have some products sourced in Europe, which are very fine oils too, and so it's quite a lot of choice on the website. And then sometimes people say, well, what shall we choose? And I think it's sort of quite a simple thing, really, because you need to try what you feel works for you. Ultimately, it's a supplement that will help you one way, hopefully, or the other, by providing some essential nutrients. Whether you want something on a lower level to just basically maintain your well-being, or whether you feel you need extra system support because you're just dealing with a lot of issues.
And one thing
in
to
your
ask
life.
there, actually, one thing I wanted to ask there was when you take CBD oils, in many ways, is it recommended that you take it over a consistent period of time so that it always activates that endocannabinoid system, and so you don't have a dip?
Well, we can't really make any recommendations, but I think, when people purchase a product and they take it, or how I have found it myself, taking it for 3 years, on and off, I would like to say, is that sometimes I really feel I need that. I take other things, I take sometimes extra vitamin B or extra vitamin C if I have a cold, or some ashwagandha or other things, but I don't take it 365 days a year, every day. Your body will tell you. You will know when one day you go and you say, actually, no, I don't feel like it today, then you may not take it. Other people are very good, and they have a particular regime, and they take their supplements day in, day out. Year in, year out. And CBD has an excellent safety profile, even at very, very high doses. So the sort of levels we're seeing in food supplement will just continuously provide these nutrients if you feel this is what you want. Definitely.
Well, thank you for speaking with me today and sharing your knowledge and wisdom in terms of the hemp CBD industry, and sharing a brief insight to your story as well, because I think it's so important to share this information, let the world know that CBD and hemp products are out there to really help us in many different ways.
Everybody really talks about CBD, but I think CBD is just one of the cannabinoids that are particularly researched for medicinal purposes. We really feel that what we produce are whole plant extracts, hemp extracts. We don't really offer CBD products as such,
I know what you mean.
Because what we want to do is take the whole goodness from the plant, because there's much more than just CBD. Although it's the most abundant cannabinoids, we have lots of other cannabinoids in smaller amounts. You have ketones, you have flavonoids, you have terpenes, minerals, vitamins, and it also, I think, brings up the whole subject of hemp in nutrition. Because the extracts are put into hemp seed oil, organic hemp seed oil, and which are rich in omega-3 and 6, and it has the most perfect balance for the human body. And we also recently added hemp foods to our range,
Yeah.
Because what we really want to do is bring hemp back big time,
Definitely.
that we all consume it. I mean, what most people wouldn't know, for example, is that hemp seeds contain more protein than actually chicken or any of the other meats.
It's very interesting, isn't it?
We need far more hemp in our diet, and really a renaissance of the hemp plant, because one of my passions, obviously, for 15 years was the environment professionally. But if you feel like that is always with you. And so what we want to see is hemp to be grown everywhere. And hopefully investment will come to its many industrial applications.
Definitely.
So we can use the plant for food, for supplements, and we can use it for the many promising applications. Maybe investment into plastics, which maybe a few have seen, degrades very quickly rather than be there forever. The potential in housing, as hempcrete, hemp lime.
Definitely.
You know, the list is pretty endless.
Phenomenal, isn't it? I'd love to build my own hemp house at some point. You know, completely made from you know, hemp and lime, like you said. You know, it's the phenomenal applications in terms of the sustainability and the ecology of it. It's phenomenal, isn't it?
I mean, it is basically carbon neutral. It even consists. This basically means it emits. It is carbon neutral, without going into detail. I think you know what that means. Before I get lost on the subject.
That's fine.
But it continues to also absorb carbon from atmosphere. It is a breathable material. The construction industry is an enormous contributor to CO2 emissions. And, you know, whatever anybody may think about climate change or not, one thing we have to acknowledge is that pollution in air has a negative effect on our health.
And without
hemp,
doubt.
certainly, without question, has an enormous contribution to play to basically benefit the planet and people.
Definitely. Is there any final notes that you want to share with us before we close out the interview?
Hemp is great. There is no fear. Hemp is non-psychoactive, it is non-psychotropic, it's just very good for us. And part of my words and campaign and awareness is to basically reduce and maybe one day stop the fear of hemp, the oppression, and the targeted campaign, which really started in the 30s for many reasons. If anybody's interested, we have a range of articles on our Facebook page under Cannawell UK, and there is much other hemp sites that can give us some background. But to basically bring the hemp plant back to its rightful place, because hemp really has co-evolved alongside humanity and well before us, and it's good for us and it's good for the planet, and we just need to drop it, alleviate the fears around it, and bring it back.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for joining me.
You're welcome.
It's been a real pleasure to chat with you, and I hope those of you who have watched this today have really got a lot of value from it and have, in many ways, like you said, distinguished some of the fears that you may have or preconceived notions that you had about hemp or anything like that. So,
and if you feel like it, include it in your diet.
Definitely. Where can we find out more about yourself and what you do?
About myself?
Yeah, and you're, well, in Cannawell, obviously.
Cannawell, you could visit our website. We have sort of also a little blog section on it. The website is www.cannawell.co.uk, or check us out on Facebook. Thank you.
Thanks again, and I will see you all very soon as well. Thanks for listening.